we have our glorious battle for capturing the coal mine, and you see this is the battle screen. This is you see here are the enemy forces, here are our forces, at least outnumbering them. They start at a distance of 4 to each other. They always start at this distance in open field battles, so in battles without any fortifications present. You see here over here a battle log where currently there's some battle round -15 displayed and battle round -14 already started because I pressed pause too late. And these battle rounds with negative values are important for some effects like assassination attacks, pre-battle attacks, and especially siege attacks, which happen in these negative numbered battle rounds. Now I can explain a characteristic I have not yet explained in detail, that is rank. You see here our cavalrymen have rank front, just like our High Lord has rank front, and our spearmen also have rank front. Therefore they stand at the front, as you can expect, and the longbowmen with rank mid stand behind, just like the baron with rank mid. In such a row up to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20 units fit there. If I would have more than 20 units with rank front, the remaining rank front units would be placed here and all mid units would be in the next row. And so on, also if I have more mid units. There are also units with rank back, which I do not have yet. And also there are units with rank front plus and front minus. They fit in with the front units, but the front plus units would be really at the front, while the front minus units would be at the back of the front units. This is very important because if you remember, one needs a commander to use to move units around. And you see one of my commanders is at front, so he will directly be in the mid battle and might be damaged and even get killed. And then I have a risk that maybe I win the battle, but I have no commander left to move the units around. And yeah, might be a problem if I win the battle, have some dozens of units left, and my commander is dead. And also, if you remember, if my last commander gets killed, I have lost. So if you have as a last commander only some commander with rank front, you have to be very careful at picking battles, because if that commander dies, you have lost. Therefore it's good to have a commander with rank mid, because he's rather likely to survive, because most of those units in front of him have to be killed first before he can be damaged. So also it's important now to look at the range stats. So here the spearman with range 1 or the cavalryman with also range 1 means they can only, for example, this spearman with range 1 can only attack units in this area. So currently he cannot attack any units. This is also true for the baron, so he has range 1. So for combat purposes, for damage dealing, it's actually not that good for him to be mid, but as it's very important for him to survive, it's probably better for him to be mid. But here our longbowmen have range 6, so if you count from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they can already hit the enemies if they get their turn to fire. So range is very important for distance combat, because if you think, as I said, if I have more front units, which I might need in large armies, then my mid-row units get more in the back. So extreme, if I would have 100 front row units, then my longbowmen would be standing here and they would just hit here. So they would have to get 3 squares or 4 squares closer before they can hit the enemy. And if I would have ranged units with a range just of 2 or 3, then actually they might be standing here in the back, at least with large armies, and cannot do anything until some of my front rows get slaughtered. So army composition therefore is important. There is a certain limit how many front rank units you should have before suddenly your ranged units, who stand normally in mid ranks, start to get less and less useful, because do not have enough fire range. But currently we do not have to worry about because we have a small arm. So now I unpause and let's see. You see, battle rounds, we don't have any siege and assassin and pre-battle attacks, so nothing happens here. That would be the usual case. And now battle round 0. First in all battle rounds, movements happen. So you see now all units moving simultaneously. And you see already that these units moved 1 square. These units would also move 1 square. But these units, if you remember, there it is. It's already electronically on the next square. They have the ability fast, which not only means 4 action points per month, but also means twice as fast in no combat. So 2 squares instead of 1. So as you see, already having different speed units has also another effect. Our fast units are further in front and therefore might get surrounded and will receive the brunt of damage, so they will receive more damage. So this does not mean that fast units are bad, it's just something you have to think of. For example, if I have a single fast unit and only slow units, then here a single fast unit would be here and the rest would be back, and the single fast unit, they might be in danger of getting attacked by 3 or 4 enemies. So currently, now after movement, in the order of initiative, things happen. So here Lance Charge initiative 5, Spearman initiative 6, here initiative 5, initiative 3, initiative 4, yes, and initiative 2, and okay, our Baron cannot attack and he would have initiative 4. So the first thing to happen would be Lance Charges and then Great Swords attack. But as they are out of range, they just have range 1, they don't do anything. And only longbowman attacks should happen. You see our first longbowman shoots. Longbowman attacks with longbow from here to there. And Dai Bakemono takes 2 points of damage. You see he lost 2 points of damage. That actually probably means that the damage roll of our unit gave us 3 or 4 damage, and his armor, which as you see in the text at the bottom of the screen, armor is reduced by 0 to 1, so he reduces by 1 to 2 the attack damage. So our longbowman did 3 or 4 damage, and the armor reduced it by 1 or 2 to take 2 total damage. Now the next bowman will attack. It's rather random which targets they attack in range. So 2 damage, which is a bit bad. If he had 1 damage more, it would be killed. Here you see something interesting. One can get battle afflictions from damage. This is a chest wound which reduces strength and hit point maximum. As you see, the reduction in strength directly reduces damage. This Bakemono Show only does 1 to 3 minus 2 damage, so 1 to 1 damage, so not very much. As you see, usually uninjured Bakemonos do more damage, 1 to 2. So these battle afflictions, their probability is dependent upon the damage you get and the total hit points you have. So this battle affliction, normally battle afflictions are not that important, but with some units. So let's see how our further longbowmen shoot. 1 killed. You see, this guy received 1 damage, and then 2 damage, and as they only have 3 hit points, that was enough to take him out of battle. So our longbowman already removed 1 enemy before he could attack. Now, next round comes, movement first. Our cavalrymen are now in melee. As you see, the cavalrymen, the fast units moved first. Or maybe it is the attacker moves first and then only the defender, because you see these units did not move. Now, initiative 5 will be before the initiative of our longbowmen. Therefore, I think lance charges will happen first. And hopefully they kill a lot of units, especially it would be good if they kill these guys, because they come immediately afterwards and they can deal a lot of damage. And they could, you see, they can deal 1 to 11 damage, and our cavalrymen just have 10 hit points, so it's dangerous for them. So, lance charge. 2 points of damage, that's bad. Okay. 2 points of damage, come on. 5 and 3. Okay, some killed. 1 point of damage. 7. Yeah, see, already his attack happened. You see here now is the text shield parry reduces by damage by 0. That's because our cavalryman which was attacked has the shield which sometimes reduces incoming damage. And this is also displayed. Also not displayed is that of course his armor also reduced damage by 1 or 2, so we can expect that this Dai Bakemono did 4 or 5 points of damage. Now the other Dai Bakemono will attack 1 point of damage. You see now the shield reduced by 1 and our High Lord did not take a lot of damage. And the Bakemono Show attacked, he did 2 points. Now you might start to wonder, as this Bakemono Show only does 1 to 2 points of damage, and our cavalryman, actually the shield parry reduced damage by 1, and then he has 1 or 2 points of armor. Why did he get damaged at all? The reason is that these damage rolls are all open-ended, in the sense that, at least if I understood correctly, but one would have to read the manual again if it's already described there. It was in the last version of Conquest of Elysium, number 3, was it this way, that if a 2 was rolled, if the damage roll 1 to 2 was, and if a 1 was rolled, it was 1 damage, and if a 2 was rolled, it was rolled again plus 1. So if the Bakemono Show, this Bakemono Show should have a 50% chance of dealing 1 damage, which wouldn't disturb our cavalryman, and a 50% chance of rolling 2, and then he would roll again with plus 1. So probably he rolled a 2, and then another 2, and then a 1, which would be 3 points of damage, which would fit to the result that our cavalryman received 1 damage. This is important because this means that any attack can kill any unit. So even if our High Lord has 13 or now 12 hit points, and as these enemies deal actually 1 to 11, he still could be killed, because if this Dai Bakemono rolls an 11 on his attack damage, he actually, let me think. Oh no, I think this Bakemono Show, if he rolls a 2, then he adds 2 and rolls again. So then he does 3 damage. So he rolled a 2 and then rolled a 1 for 3 damage. And if this guy rolls 11, he rolls again. And then he can do something like 12 to 22 damage easily. And that of course would kill our High Lord. Actually, for the exact calculation of damage, I still have to wait for the exact description. So now our bowmen shoot. They don't deal that much damage because these guys have armor, 2 armor, and we have 1 to 4 damage, so it's not optimal. Now I think everybody has attacked, and next round. You see, by the way, that our longbowmen did not move because they are already close enough. The mid-rank units, they stop engaging further, at least as long as front-rank units are there. You see, our cavalryman here moves around the corner to engage, and everybody else also moves closer. You see, this longbowman also moves closer, but they still keep some distance. Now, this was the movement of round 2. And Spearman. Spearman attacked first because initiative 6, so he's faster than the broadsword. Lance charge is used only once per battle of our cavalryman. So the Spearman attacked, the other Spearman cannot attack. Now I think it's random. These guys have initiative 4, and our guys now have with their attack initiative 4. It's random which of the 2 will attack first. So let's see. Our cavalryman attacks with a broadsword. And another attack. You see here, Dai Bakemono takes 8 points of damage, although we only have 1 to 7, so this was also an open-ended roll where damage was increased. Broadsword. Yeah, you noticed in the first round where there was a lance charge, the High Lord only made the lance charge. So with the High Lord, as with the cavalryman, the lance charge happens, and if there's no lance charge possible because it's only usable once, only then broadswords happens. So now our High Lord should make a second broadsword attack. I see 2 points of damage. Dai Bakemono did only 1 point of damage, and this was reduced, and the armor reduced further, so our units are alive. And now the bowmen attack, and they should be able to kill him with just one left. No, there was still a broadsword attack. So now we won. You see, some of our units got damaged, but they didn't get any serious battle afflictions, so this damage will heal with the time. There are some units which have here some special feature of never healing, but our units, they heal. And now the battle is over. Battle aftermath. This means that if there's some poison ongoing or some other effects that which still need to be calculated and can happen, for example, poison could still now kill a unit if there would be a poisoned unit, but there was no poisonous attacks in this battle. And now the battle is over. Yes, computer moves, the enemy. Oh, you saw there a small tag Inferno moving, which I will... Oh, okay. This is not important, Inferno. What Inferno does is not important because it's on another plane of existence. But what happened on our plane of existence is important. You remember here where the units where I said we must take a look at. And now they moved here. These 3 knights and 1 high lord. They should serve me and not fight me, but that's bad luck. They will fight me. And you see, in the next turn they could move in our Baron's castle and finish us. So either we would have to guard our Baron's castle now or attack them. As they took our hamlet, which brings us gold. You see, our gold income. We captured the coal mine, which gives us 1 gold. But we lost the hamlet, which gave us, due to hamlet being in snow or in ice, so then hamlet income is halved. So we lost the 1 gold income we gained from the coal mine again. If you see here again, 2 farms, which is halved to currently 1 Baron's castle, which also gives 2, also halved due to snow. Only the coal mine is not halved. So we are still at 3 income, which is a bit bad, because then the plus 25% will not give us an additional gold. Also, but now we get some iron. Okay, now, by the way, those people knowingly go, no, I made a mistake at the start, which I will explain later. But now I have first to consider which, you see, any other roaming units or snake units, they are called in the manual, because often they are snakes, are here and here. First are boars. Boars, they are about as strong as spearmen. You see, they have 5 hit points. Spearmen have 6 hit points. They do 1 to 4 damage. They have less magic resistance, but they are fast. And they have here special ability Berserker. If they get damaged but survive, they gain more strength, so deal more damage and gain some extra hit points. So I think they are about as good as spearmen. So if I would fight them with 4 spearmen, I think the spearmen, they don't have a 50% chance due to berserking, but it would not be a safe battle. So if I fight these guys, I would need more than 4 spearmen at least. Here there are goblins. Of course, they are not strong. You see, only 2 hit points, little strength, moral and magic resistance. But here's an important ability, forest stealth. This unit is stealthy while in a forest or jungle. This means that on the world map, if these guys move into this forest, I can no longer see them unless I have a unit which has a scouting ability to counter their stealth. But they are in a mountain, so it does not affect me. This is of course very important if you would have a forest right next to your main castle. You should be very careful, because such units could move next to your castle and you don't see them. Then you should either ensure before you leave the castle undefended that there's no hidden unit in the forest, or you need some scout with stealth detection ability, or you need to leave some defense in the castle. So now, but these 2 units, they only could take our coal mine or a farm, and these are more important as they could take our castle. Now, the knights, you see they have armor 3, they have a lance charge and a broadsword and a hoof attack, which, if you remember correctly, is stronger than our cavalrymen, which have only armor 2, hit points 10, and only a single broadsword attack. And also I think lance charge 1 to 10 and lance charge 1 to 12, so they are better. So if I would attack with just the units, if you remember, my high lord can check out my High Lord is currently only leading this 5 cavalrymen. If my High Lord and the 5 cavalrymen attack these guys, it would not be rather superior forces. I think we would still win, but it could mean I would lose, at least I would lose several units, and I might lose my High Lord. Now also, if you remember from last turn, my High Lord moved from the Baron's Castle here using 2 action points and only had 2 action points left, and then moved onto the coal mine, which requires 2 action points standard plus 1 due to being ice or snow. And therefore he needed 3 action points, but as he had only 2 action points, he loses 1 action point further in this round. So if you make expensive movement with your last action point, then your armies in the next turn will not be able to move very far. And actually, under some circumstances, they might not be able to move at all if they lose all their action points because your last movement used so much. Now, so only attacking with our cavalry forces might not be enough, but if we check out, if we add our bows and our baron, it should be enough. So now I attack again with all our forces. And it's important now, if I would make a mistake and, for example, click him here, it would be very bad because I could not take it back, and then I would fight this battle, which is not optimal. So now I attack here, and again I click end turn, and now I hopefully pause faster, attacking independence. Now I was faster. You see, battle is commencing. Now battle round -15 will happen, and so on to -0. These guys, you see, the High Lord is fast, that we already knew, but the Knights also have a special ability. You see, it's important to check the special ability, because they can be important. They have battle fast. They move fast in combat, but normal on world map. So we can expect them to move 2 squares. As you see, yes, they move 2 squares, and now they are already both in melee range, and I unpaused, sorry. So, Knight attacks with Lance Charge. Yeah, Lance Charge, of course, it's both Lance Charges, so it's same initiative, so it's more or less random who attacks first. So, we see, here one was injured, but he's still alive. 7 points of damage, okay. You see, often shield parry reduces damage, so shields are important. It's an important ability. I see, there was someone killed. He first received 7 damage and then received 6 damage, and that of course was too much for his 10 hit points. So I already lost a cavalryman in this battle. But, and he didn't lose anyone. Hopefully this knight gets killed by the archers. No, not archers, longbowmen. But you see, they don't deal much damage because they have 3 armor and a shield. So they are pretty hard to deal. Oh, this was a good shot. 4 damage against his 2 or 3 damage reduction means the archer again rolled high enough to get a bonus. Now knight attacks with hoof. Okay, so this hoof attack can happen in addition to lance charge. Probably it's programmed that way because the knight either uses his lance or his broadsword, but his horse can anyway use his hoof. By the way, this hoof does blunt damage, as you see, which is for the moment irrelevant, but there are some units which are, for example, skeletons, where blunt damage is better than pierce damage. So they attack with their hoofs. By the way, you see hoof attack initiative 2, therefore it happened at the same time or at a random order with our longbowman attack. Now everybody attacked, and next movement happens. These units do not move as they already engaged enemy units unless there's some ability against it. If a unit is next to another, it cannot move until this other unit is killed or somehow moves away. Except it gets frightened, then it always runs away. And again, broadsword attack happens. Now our High Lord here had 2 broadsword attacks, which one didn't do any damage. And we have to see, everybody survived. This guy didn't survive very well, only 1 left. And, come on, kill him. Ah, boy, great. Killed him. Ah, the High Lord killed the other High Lord. Good. Our High Lord is still alive. That's important. I will explain later. Now we just see how the battle plays out. This was a good attack by a spearman with dealing 6 points of damage. As you see, the spearman has 1 to 4. So again, this rolling maximum damage and then rolling again with a bonus, it's very important because it does happen often. And you see also here a broadsword attack dealing at least 12 damage, probably 13 or 14 damage, although the broadsword attack only does 1 to 7 damage. So again, you cannot, this is not a maximum, while it's usually in the range to 1 to 7. Sometimes when a 7 is rolled, or always when a 7 is rolled, so every 7th roll, it gets a bonus. I think if I remember correctly, the bonus is -1 the maximum value. So then this attack rolls a 7, it's 6 plus another roll the damage. And for example, when this lance charge rolls a 12, it's 11 plus another roll. So now let's see one thing here. We have, lost an eye in battle. Misses with 10% of all attacks, so not nice, but at least he has another eye left. Losing both eyes is bad. As we know from the movie 300, the god, what did he say, was wise enough to give him a spare, so our cavalryman is still useful. Another damage. So this battle fright, moral reduced by 2, so he's more fearful. You don't have to care too much for this. It's just sometimes very important for specific units. For example, if you have a very strong unit and it loses both eyes, you have a problem because then it does not hit and suddenly it's no longer a very strong unit, at least in terms of damage dealing. Now we won, but as you see, we lost 2 cavalrymen. So it was quite a taxing battle, and if you remember correctly, I said that just attacking with our cavalrymen and our high lord might be problematic, and you see it would have been problematic because the extra damage from the spearman and the longbowman would not have happened, and we already lost 2 under these good circumstances. So only attacking with the cavalryman we might have lost more or might have lost all, and especially we might have lost the high lord. Now, battle aftermath, nothing happens again. Now both the goblins and the other guys moved away. So now what I did wrong at the start of turn was not to tell you about special powers. Now first tell you about sentry. Sentry just means that this commander will not pop up. You will not get it in the next commander. It will not be auto-selected. You have to manually select it again for use. It's important when you want a commander not to move and just don't want to be bothered by him to, you can press space if you don't want to move him. Maybe I should highlight this menu button above there. There's preferences, and I suggest you select here at gameplay, next commander selection. Always select next commander when out of API action points. And otherwise, if you, for example, select manual, it's far easier to forget a commander who could still move and do something useful. Show elite. No, this is. You should also. Here this move system. It's show path when first moving means that, for example, it doesn't work properly. I think at least sometimes it's buggy. Therefore, immediate move. Now, yes, so this is sentry, but here is used special power, which is for many classes very important, and also for the Baron. You see here 3 abilities. Raise Fort, which costs gold, Swift Justice, which also costs gold, and Raise Levies, which does not cost any gold. Here you have this button, Repeat Ritual, would be important if you want some unit to do some ritual again and again, which is useless with the High Lord because these rituals can only be performed once. Now, Raise Levies, if you read, can only be cast in human settlements, raises militia from the local population, which will defend the place from bee guns, animals, or worse. Now, if you remember, my High Lord moved here and then attacked there. He should have raised militia immediately, which means the militia would have been here and might have defended against. But let's use it. Use special power, raise levies, and you see, this sound. I should switch this sound off because it might be not nice. But you see, now there are 3 units. Wait, let me switch off the sound. Sound volume for effects 0. Better. Now I got 3 units, which, let's see here, a levy. We see hit points 5, magic resistance 4, moral 3, no armor, spear 1 to 4 damage, a bit weaker than a spearman, but he has an ability which we should read closely. Stationary. Stationary units cannot move on the world map, which means that if I select transfer unit and try to include him in my army, I cannot do anything. These units will stay there in place forever, which is okay because they are supposed to be defensive units and they didn't cost us anything. So also there are here 2 levies which have less hit points but a sling, so can attack at a distance. You already see here the sling has only range 4, while our longbowmen have range 6, and the sling deals only 1 to 2 damage. So our longbowmen are really better than slings, as it is actually in real life, I think. So now we have these 3 units standing here in the hamlet. So I have to admit those 3 units wouldn't have stood a chance against these 3 knights and the High Lord, but well, it's for free and it just costs 1 action point. So you see already what this High Lord is good for is moving around and raising levies where you can raise them. Also, we can check out what special powers our Baron has. You see, he can also raise levies, swift justice, raise fort, and he has something coronation, very expensive and only possible in a king's castle. So if we ever see a king's castle and might happen to have 600 gold, we can stop being a baron, and if we, well, the baron sits on the king's throne and becomes himself king. So we can get king if we find a castle. Yeah, but this also means that it would be far more, at least in large games where we will get 600 gold and where we are likelier to find a king's castle, it would be very bad to lose the baron, while the High Lord, well. So, wait, let me think. Yeah, again, use special power, raise levies. Human settlements. Oh, it is not written here, but I will show you that it does not work in farms. So I just, for demonstration, move my High Lord here. Use special power. You see, levies cannot work. Now, again, we can look at the other powers. Swift Justice can only be cast in a Brigand lair. Swift Justice can be dealt to a Brigand lair. Brigand lair is a special square on the map which spawns brigands, and of course this looks nice because we can hang them and then they don't bother us anymore. And we have here, you see also now in the small text tip at the bottom of the page, it is written that it only can be cast in a brigand lair, just like not possible to cast this ritual here, so it does not always. Here, raise fort is interesting. You see it is black. That means that we could use it in this place, but you see it costs 50 gold, so we couldn't use it. You see, can only be cast in hamlets. This puts up a high wall. It means we will get some defensive structure. So at the moment, I would still have to explain what a defensive structure is. What's also important, rituals here. This costs 6 pairs of boots, means it costs 6 movement points. This would mean if our Baron would do it, he would lose this 3 points, and he would lose the 3 points in the next round. So he wouldn't be able to move in this round and wouldn't be able to move in the next round. And if he would already have moved this round and, let's say, for example, have only 1 action point left and then use the ritual of costing him 6 action points, he would lose this 1 point, 3 points in the next round, and 2 points in the following round. So we have to be careful with this ritual because it stops the movement of the commander for quite some time. This, by the way, affects only the movement of the commander. So if, for example, another commander would be in the place, he could recruit the units and they would still have movement points left. At least I think it is this way. So actually each unit as far as I know, has its individual movement information, but you only see the movement information of the commander as he moves the units around. Now let's see, we need to scout to find some more income sites. We have to be careful. This iron block, it gives iron. Unfortunately, it will cost us 3 movement points plus 1 because it's snow, so we will use up all 3 action points we have and 1 in the next turn. But still we get it because iron is useful. By the way, you see, by retaking the hamlet, we have 5 income because 2 from farms, okay, which is only 1 due to half, due to snow, 1 from hamlet, 1 from Baron's castle, 1 from coal mine, which will only be 4. But we have a global income bonus, which would give us 5. This global income bonus is special to the Baron. Other classes do not have it. Now let's see, our High Lord here now should move here, I think, because this mountain costs more movement points. So this tundra costs 1 plus 1 due to being snow, so he will have 1 movement point less next round. There are boars, as they are as strong as spearmen, approximately, so 4 spearmen, and as these guys are quite stronger than spearmen, although they are injured, I hope they will survive if they get attacked, but we will see. So, end turn, nobody attacked us. Yeah, now we have a message. First, autumn is here. As I said, the effect of these seasons is mainly sorry, had to put something on because it got cold, is mainly that the line of snow moves south and moves northwest back. So now the snow will be going further south. Maybe we see it immediately. And we have a recruitment offer of 1 alchemist. Usually anything that gets recruited only 1 apiece is a commander. So this is a commander. We will look at the end of the term. So now we see, you see, this was not snow in the last term. Now it's snow because we got autumn. Also, you see there's some units coming here, but let's just look at the moment. We have no unit near our castle, which is good, so no risk there. These 10 goblins, they might overwhelm. Yeah, they will overwhelm these 3 levies if they attack, but more worried I'm about this. Let's look how many they are. They are 3 guys. You see 12 hit points, 1 armor, spear with plus 2 damage, so 1 to 6 damage, a shield. These guys are quite strong. They are strong as 1.5 or maybe even 2 spearmen. So this is their commander, which is even slightly stronger with a trident, 1 to 9 damage. I wouldn't attack them with only 4 spearmen. I would say, you see, I always calculate the number of spearmen, or at least maybe you should at the start of the game estimate the number of spearmen you need to defeat some forces, and I wouldn't attack this with less than 6 spearmen, maybe more. So if we look at our guy, we have 6 spearmen and 5 longbowmen. It's not optimal battle. We could lose something. Now again, we look at them, and there's a slight problem about them. They have a shield, okay, but they are amphibian. They can enter water squares. So what these guys could make is move here, and then they stand next to our castle, and we can't attack them on the water. This would be quite a great problem. Unfortunately, we have a problem. Our High Lord cannot come here. But still, we have to do something. Let me think. We should move both of them close to the castle in case this guy moves up, so we can increase the castle defense. You see, if I would, for example, attack with the Baron, these 10 goblins, we have 2 action points left. This costs 3 action points, plus 1 for snow means 4, so we move here, then we lose 2 action. Then it costs 4 action points, and we lose 2 action points in the next turn. So this would mean we would have just 1 action point, so we couldn't reach from here our castle. So we would have a problem if these guys come here. Now the High Lord, yeah, he could move. So, but I think I would do something risky because I don't want to have them roaming in the water. Therefore, I attack them, and I hope we win. I think we win because we have the equivalent of maybe 10 spearmen, because this bowman do as much damage as spearmen, and also our Baron could dish out some damage. So I think it should work. But if you do try such things on your own risk, this is not without risk. So these boars, we ignore them. Fighting them does not gain us anything, and they are not yet a danger. These goblins, 10 goblins, are maybe a bit much for our 4, especially since one of them is injured. So we just move with them around and check out whether we find something interesting. Only tundra, completely useless. Okay, we wanted to look at recruit units. Maybe if you remember when I showed this screen, this is always staying the same. This spearmen, swordsmen, crossbowmen, heavy infantry, longbowmen, pikeneers, halberdiers, zweihanders, tower guards, cavalrymen, war dogs, ballistas, catapult, trebuchet, or whatever it's called. Sorry, I'm not native English, so don't complain. And here now we have commander. Unfortunately, there's no indication that this is a commander unit, but you usually know that's a commander unit if it has some odd number of costs. All the standard units only have standard costs like 50, 25, or 60, or 100. Now this would be an interesting guy to hire because, okay, you see it does not have impressive fighting abilities. It has rank back, so it's rather safe in battle. It has good magic resistance, high moral, and it can cast spells. Unfortunately only level 1, but that would be already good because he could cast some spells from the back. By the way, you see spells are always, or at least I think all units I know have initiative 1 when casting spells, so it always comes last. Now the interesting ability would be here, gold bonus 2 per month. So if we could hire this leader, he would give us 2 gold per month income. Unfortunately, we cannot hire him, and he's just an offer for this turn. This already shows you an important lesson. It is sometimes or very often useful, at least if you have enough income, to keep enough income to hire interesting recruits. For example, later in game, if I have enough gold, I will try to keep myself above, well, maybe 60 gold, so I can hire all alchemists that show up, because 2 gold income, I mean, you paid 54 and you get a commander which can move units around, and you get 2 income in return. So it would be rather good to hire him, but we can't. And now we make enter. Attacking independence. Now this is the dangerous battle. Haha, let's see how they fare. I think they should win. You see, what is good is that these are not fast and our guys are not fast. Therefore, our bowmen have 1 round of free firing without their melee damage hitting us. So let's see if they can do some useful damage. Yeah, they killed one. That's great. Great shot. That was again an open-ended roll because they have 1 armor and the shield parry reduced by 1, and still 7 damage got through, and our bowmen only roll 1 to 4. So now their spear, initiative 6, so it will again be random. This guy did not move closer because he has rank mid, so you see here rank mid is a disadvantage because now he is still at a distance and our bowman could fire at him without any return fire or any return attacks from him. So you see they exchanged blows, they damaged him, but all our units survived. Never healing round, who cares? He will anyway die in some later battle, he's in front rank. They don't live for long. Now our bowmen come again, because again, initiative 6, spear, attack first and only then longbow. You see they shoot. Great shot, guys. Okay, this was worked better than I expected. I didn't lose anyone. Now we have some recruitment offer. You see we get high lords offered. So if we lose high lords, or just if we need further high lords, maybe sometimes we can hire them. As far as I know, we don't get baron offers, so this is the only baron we have at start. If we lose him, it is first the unit is gone, and we cannot have a coronation. So better protect him in case there's a king's castle. And some scout, as you remember, they are useful for detecting stealthy units. And as you see from the gold 41, we could at least recruit the scout. Let's look at him. He is mid-rank. He has a bow, 1 to 3 damage, less than a longbow, you see. So he's at least fighting as a weak bowman, 5 hit points, and he himself has stealth, can only be seen if the enemy has acute senses of spirit sight ability, and he himself has acute senses. So he can see himself. That's great. He knows always where he is, and especially he can see other hidden units. For example, he could see these goblins, even if they hide in woods, because it's just stealth. He can't see invisible units, but there aren't that many invisible units. So, as he's just 16 gold, yes, you have to know these offers, their gold cost is always slightly random. So, last turn we had the Alchemist at 54 gold also. Now we have a High Lord at 54 gold. At other times the High Lord might be only 45 gold or 60 gold. The same for the Alchemist and same also for the Scout. And I know from playing often enough that 16 gold is quite a good price for a Scout. So we should take him because we need Scouts anyway sooner or later. And so, by the way, we could already hire War Dogs. Let's look at them. 3 hit points, magic resistance 3, moral 3, fast, okay. Initiative 2, attack with 1 to 4 damage, not that good, but cheap. Maybe if we quickly need units. And they are mid-rank, so they stand behind the front rank, which I always ask myself what they are good for in this case, because they only have a melee attack, but yeah, maybe if you don't have anything else. So at least we hire the Scout, so we click left button here. Now you see here's the showing. By the way, if we had more sites to recruit, we could click here on the other sites, but currently we have only this. Now we have the Scout standing here. Now I can show you how the defenses of our castle look like. Again, I can explain them now in detail that you have seen a battle. Now, if a battle would take here, the attacker would be here outside, and of course the defender would be here inside. On these walls, usually casters, siege, and especially archer units like bows, crossbows, and longbows will be placed, while melee units will be placed here. And as you can expect, these walls cannot be crossed except by flying units or units with climbing. So archers up here are rather safe, and also what you don't see any attack coming from outside the walls or from this side, so from a non-wall space. So if a unit is standing on one of these spaces, one of these squares, and gets attacked from a square which is not one of these squares, it gets a damage reduction between 0 and 3 or 0 and 6 depending on the exact type of fortification. This fortification would reduce between 0 and 6. So our Scout on this wall would be quite well defended, and he could still shoot with a bow because he has a range 5, and he has an increased range by 2 if he is standing on the wall, which is not shown here. So he could fire 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. He could hit up to here. Wait, I miscounted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Up to here. Now you see here is a gate. As you see, 50 hit points and 4 armor. Also, these are interesting abilities. Fire resistance 100. It cannot be damaged by fire. It cannot be damaged by cold. It cannot be damaged by lightning. It cannot be poisoned. It cannot fall asleep. Okay, this is irrelevant because it doesn't move and cannot attack. It cannot be charmed. Oh, it cannot heal damage. Never heals. They can't repair their castle gates. Okay, but who cares? And pierce resistant will only take half damage from pierce weapons and will only take half damage from slash weapons. So, if sword or spearmen attack this gate, they get their damaged half, their attack damage, and then the armor is subtracted. And it has 50 hit points, so you can expect that if a group of swordsmen or spearmen attack here, and they cannot move up the castle wall, they have to hack through the iron gate, and it will take quite some time to get through. And during all this time, this bowman up here, okay, currently we have only one scout, will fire at them. So this is like some extra rounds for your archers to fire at the enemy. That's the main effect of fortification. And this already tells you that the fortification is practically only useful if you have archers. So if you want to leave some units to defend some fortified place, there should be archers among them. Because if there aren't archers, the gate will disappear. The gate disappears if you don't have archers left or too few archers left. And then it will be just the normal melee battle, with the difference that here there's a place where only 2 units can attack each other. So it's a bit... I forgot to tell, also a very large unit. There are units which are free up to 3 squares. They can also just walk over castle walls. But even against these units, the defensive protection of the castle wall, this 0 to 3 or 0 to 3 or 0 to 6 damage reduction, would still apply as long until the unit is itself on these squares. So even against such units, this defense is very useful. So, by the way, not all fortified places have an iron gate. Not all fortified places have 2 lines for the archers. Some have only 1. There are even fortified places without gates. Some have only wooden gates. Some have, I think, steel gates. And some have even enchanted gates, which are even better than iron gates. But I hope, you see, this unit has no zone of control, so any units could move around it. Which is important. There are some castles which have here 4 free spaces, and they have 2 gates neighboring to each other, and if one gate is destroyed, already the enemy units can get inside and attack the archers. But still, mindless, it will never flee due to fear. Great, our iron gate will not run away. Also, it has moral 99, so it cannot be made afraid. But magic resistance 5, maybe there are many spells only deal this type of damage. So usually to destroy a gate, you have to hack through it, which takes quite some time. Only wooden gates, I think, are not fire resistant, but fire vulnerable. So wooden gates, maybe if have some fire breathing unit in front, it can quickly kill the wooden gate. But yeah, so you see our fortification, and believe me, if you have here both lines filled with archers, then large armies can come and they will fail at attacking you. And especially if you have some special spellcasters up here, your defense would be really good. And this means if you attack a fortified location, carefully check what the enemy especially has up here, because these units in these places will have a lot of attacks before they get killed. Because usually the fire across this wall cannot kill them because they have this large damage reduction. And walking around takes forever because you have to get through the iron gate. I remember a fortified structure, a magic school, or was it magic school, I think it's called. And I looked at it, just 10 units, and I had 100 units, and I said, okay, I take it. Unfortunately, there was a wizard there. This wizard had a magic item which made him invisible, so I didn't see him. And this wizard had a spell dealing damage to all units on the battlefield. You think 100 units against 10 and a single wizard on walls would have been easy? No, I lost all 100 units with the wizard surviving. Because it was an ice spell dealing ice damage to all units, and he was immune to ice. And he was standing somewhere up here. My archers didn't deal any damage to him or were quickly killed. And he always cast this spell dealing damage to all my units, and therefore I lost 100 against 11 units. So always be careful when you attack, especially magic schools, because they usually have wizards in them, and sometimes these wizards even have magic items making them invisible, and then you could be just toast, or in that case I was, how do you call it? If you're roasted by fire, you're toast, and if you're killed by ice, I don't know, I got humiliated at least, so I'm careful. Now, after this long discussion about defenses, now we have a dwarf worker. Again, check out, if you don't know dwarf worker, just click on him and estimate its strength in case compare him to spearman. So from damage, from hit points, it's a bit like spearman. He has no shield, a bit weaker therefore in defense. He has good magic resistance. Spearman has only 4. And he has 50% fire resistance and 50% cold resistance, mountain move and snow move. Snow move means Yeah, it's irrelevant for this unit as this is a snake unit and this moves only one at a turn. But if you have dwarf units, you're better moving through snow. You don't get penalty through snow, and you move mountains for cost of 2 instead of 3. And he has a pickaxe dealing 1 to 7 damage. So he deals more damage than a spearman, but is slightly weaker. So I think he's a bit better than spearman due to his resistances and magic resistance. But okay, so this is 1 spearman or so, so not very strong. Here we have the 4 boars, and here we have the 10 goblins. So I think I will move the Baron back so he can maybe fight these guys if they do something stupid here. And he is strong enough because these are 12 units, 6 spearmen, 5 longbowmen. And if you remember, these goblins are quite weak, so our forces should handle them. And these 4 boars, they were about spearmen, so again with 6 spearmen and 5 longbowmen we should be able to handle them. We move him back here, and then maybe we attack next turn even. These guys I want to scout. I want to find something giving me money. Slinger and bandits. Bandits are mostly, they have a bow and they have a staff. Not very strong. And here I have a slinger. Not very strong units. Weaker than spearmen, I would guess. They deal less damage. They don't have a shield. They have less hit points. They have less moral. So moral at the moment is unimportant because we don't have any units forcing the enemy to make moral checks. So I could end turn. I just want to highlight, maybe you ask yourself, here above we are currently viewing the plane of Elysium. Of course, we play Conquest of Elysium, so we should see the plane of Elysium. We must see what we conquer. But there are other unknown planes, which sometimes you can access to through some gates or through some special units. For example, there are units with burrowing, and not for a baron, but other classes have them, and they can reach this plane, then this plane, which is Inferno, so where the devils are, and then if you burrow further, you land in the void where your units get mad and you don't find anything interesting except cruel and powerful monsters. So be careful when you go for our planes, especially these guys on Inferno. They are aggressive, and if they find a way here in our plane, which is sometimes a random event that such a gate opens, you will have to fight them, and they can be tougher than usual enemies. So we just enter. Now we can hire a captain for 41 gold. Let's check out what a captain is. It's a commander.